Welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to start coding with Google Apps Script. We're going to create a standalone script. So we already did that in the last lesson where we went over to script.google.com, hit new script, and we created a brand new script. So let's update the interface. We can shrink the file viewer at the left-hand side. Also do the compact of the controls. So I've got a little bit more real estate to work with, and I'll make this a little bit bigger as well so that the code is easier to read. Now there's a number of functions that are available. There's the file, there's edit, view, run, publish, resources, and help. So help is super useful. It's got a lot of, it's got tutorials, API reference. So if you are getting stuck, then this is the place to go where you can get some more information. Resources, so you can add additional libraries as well as advanced Google services. So this is the place to go for that. If you're deploying as a web app or an API, then you have an option here under Publish. Run allows you to run and debug functions. View, we're going to be looking at the logs. There's also an option for making the controls here, which we've also done. Edit, we can select all and the typical things where you define replace, undo, redo, and word completion, content assistant, and toggle comment. So this gives you a quick way to select a bunch of content and toggle it. There's also the project triggers, which allow you to automate the project content functions, and then also there's triggers. And then under file you can create new, so you can create a new document, spreadsheet, presentation, as well as files within this project, and you can also create a new project. So a lot of great options there. So let's first start out by creating a script, and this script is going to be a standalone script, and there's two different types of scripts that you can create with Google Script. Standalone is completely independent, so it's not tied to any one particular Google application, whereas the bound scripts are tied to a particular application, and we're going to be looking at those later on in the course. So let's create a function, and if you are familiar with JavaScript, then this should come very naturally to you, where we're creating a function, and we've got our curly brackets, and then this is where all the code goes for that function. And you can always save that. There's a save button over here, and then whenever you want to run the script, you can run it by selecting the function by the function name, and then also clicking the run button, the run icon. So what we want to do is we want to create, first of all, let's create a random name. And this is the same as JavaScript. So if we do new date, this will create a date, just as we were expecting in JavaScript. Now there isn't a console log, but there is a way to see the values while you're working with them, and that's within the logger log. And what this will do is this will output the information into the console log so that we can see the value of name. So that's going to be seen under logs. So let's go ahead and run the first script. So there's a number of options in order to run. You can hit the Run tab here and then select the function from the drop-down list. And once you run it, so what's happened now is we've run this function, and under the logs, the viewer, we can see that we've got the date value that's being output. And this is the same thing that you would get in JavaScript when you do new date. JavaScript, there's the toLocale date string method, and this is again JavaScript, so I'm just referencing at the Mozilla Developer Network at the MDN web docs, which is a great resource if you're not familiar with JavaScript to find out more about it. So there's a method here to date string, and then you can also do options, and you can see it outputs it in various formats. So we can do different languages if we want, as well as we can update and have a different output. So this is, again, just like date, it's just a JavaScript method that's available. So if we wanted to use that, we can wrap the date object with this and add that into here, and then simply close that off. And what this is going to do is this is going to structure that date object in a different format, so that it's not going to have all of that extended value after it, and it'll be more of a simplified format. So let's save, and we're going to run that. And that's was actually the output there. So you don't get all of the excess, you just simply get the date there as a date object. And there's a number of different things that you can do. So this is just a demonstration of how you can incorporate what JavaScript does into your Google app. So next that we want to do is we want to create a doc. So this is going to be using some of what's available within the Google Apps Script, and it's all available via classes. So one of the classes that we have access to is the DocumentApp class. And you can see once I hit the dot, we get this suggestion tool. And the suggestion here that we're going to use is we're going to create a brand new Google Doc. So this is just going to be one line of code. And when we run the script, you can see it's going to ask us for permissions. So anytime the script is functioning as the user and it's using your account to do some stuff, you're going to always have to accept permissions. So go ahead and review permissions and select the account that you want to use to have the app operate as, and then you can read through and you can see what permissions are being accepted. So view, manage Google Doc documents is what we want to allow it to do, and that means that it's going to be allowed to manage and interact with the DocumentApp class, which is going to allow us to create a brand new doc. And going into our drive, there we go, we've got our Google Doc that was just created, and there's that first script as well. So if you ever want to access your scripts, you're going to see them within your Google Drive, and they're using that script icon with the white arrow pointing to the right, and then also the Google document there. So let's try creating another one. Run the script again and go into our drive, and we see that we've created another document on the fly just from that one line of code. Now, in the next upcoming lesson, I'll show you how you can select the content from that document and add in some content as you're creating the document. So that's still all to come, as well as I'll show you how you can use the Spreadsheet app in order to create a spreadsheet the same way that we just created a doc. Really easy, one line of code. So that's still all yet to come. So go ahead, create your first script, add in, and if you are familiar with JavaScript, you can use some of the different JavaScript methods that are available. Try it out, try out the logger, log out some information, and then create a document within your drive using the Google Apps Script class.